Good evening, actually. It's not afternoon anymore. Good evening. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. And it's on December the 18th, 2025, which happens to be our... I know you'll want to stay till the very end because we're going to have a discussion item to review what happened in 2025 in case you have forgotten anything that happened with us in 2025. Citizens who are interested in participating in the public session portion of the meeting, you may do so by calling 336-422-1200. You'll be placed on hold until the public session begins. And members of the audience who are interested in participating in the public session portion of the meeting, you just need to fill out a speaker card and return it to the clerk. You can do that actually right now. That does not apply to those that may be here for the public hearing. You'll have an opportunity when we get to the either pro and cons on the public hearing to come up without a speaker card. We're going to begin our meeting tonight with an invocation from Pastor Frank Robinson from Messiah Community Christian Church, and it'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Wilson. And I'd like to invite everyone who is able to stand.
Good evening. Let us pray. Gracious and sovereign God, as we gather for this final meeting of the year, we pause to acknowledge your presence and to thank you for your steady guidance and unfailing faithfulness. We recognize the weight of responsibilities carried by these public servants and the honor of serving the people of this community. As this year draws to a close, we give thanks for the progress achieved, the obstacles overcome, and the wisdom gained along the way. We honor the dedication, sacrifice, and perseverance of those who have served with integrity, diligence, and commitment. As we carry out the work before us today, grant wisdom in every decision, clarity in every conversation, and respect in every exchange. May conversation prevail, fairness govern our actions, and the well-being of our community remain our highest priority. As we look forward and toward a new year, we ask for renewal and strength. Restore weary minds, prepare capable hands, and inspire hope for the responsibilities and opportunities that lie ahead. We ask for peace within this room, unity among leaders, and continued blessings upon this community. With gratitude for the year behind us and confidence in the year before us, we offer you this prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is a public hearing on the zoning petition of Keystone Group, Inc. from HBS to RM18S. It is zoning docket F1662. And Kirk Erickson from Planning and Development Services Deputy Director is going to give us an overview of the request.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, Commissioners. The petitioner is the Keystone Group, and the site is a 0.73 acre property located at the southeast intersection of Wahlberg Landing Drive and Overline Drive at the Davidson County line. And it's a special use rezoning request from highway business special use to RM18 multifamily special use. This is the Forward 2045 growth management map showing the site. Again, it's at the Davidson County line just off Thomasville Road. This is a zoning map showing the site in yellow. Again, you can see the RM18, which is multifamily at 18 units an acre, which is the existing Wahlberg Landing apartment development that's already out there. The highway business special use zoning is a gas station, some retail space, and a McDonald's. And then there's a Food Line shopping center on the Davidson County side of the property. Again, this is an aerial showing the subject property outlined in yellow. You can see there's already an existing parking lot out here, which was constructed when this was expected to be additional commercial space. As the market has not been there for that type of development, this petitioner is hoping to repurpose this as an additional building in his existing multifamily development. And this is the adopted area plan land use recommendation map. Again, in recognition of existing zoning, the site is shown as red for commercial development, and the existing apartment homes are shown in the dark brown for high-density residential development. We'll just go through a few site pictures. This is looking east along Wahlberg Landing Drive. Subject property is to the right, and Thomasville Road is kind of off in the distance. This is looking west along Wahlberg Landing Drive. Subject property is to the left. This is looking north on Wahlberg Landing Drive. You can see the McDonald's in the background, and the subject property is where we took the photograph from. And this is looking south along Overline Drive. The subject property is to the left, and Davidson County is off in the distance beyond the trees. This is the site plan for the proposed development. You can see that most of this development has already been constructed. This one building right here is what the request is actually for this evening, and we've got another site plan that's going to come up and zoom in on that. But I just wanted to let the commissioners see these green areas are the existing open space for the development that this property will be able to take advantage of, including a pool, a clubhouse, pet parks, things of that nature. And this blue park is an additional open space that's being added to make sure that there's additional open space to serve kind of the ratio of this added 12-unit building. This is zooming in on the particular building. It's a 3-story apartment building with 4 units per floor. They're all 2-bedroom units, and again, the parking lot is already out there. These are building elevations showing brick construction, and the elevations will match the design of the buildings that are already existing in the Wahlberg Landing development. In summary, the proposal prioritizes density, a diversity of uses, and connectivity in an area served by existing infrastructure. The project would redevelop an underutilized commercial property and reuse an existing parking lot, and the proposal would create additional housing in a growing area. This item was heard by the Planning Board at their November 13th public hearing. There were no speakers in opposition, and following the public hearing, the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval. Mr. Scott Wallace, the petitioner, is here if you have any questions, and I'm also available.
Any questions for Kurt? All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing, and speakers will have up to 15 minutes total to speak in favor of this request, and up to 15 minutes total to speak in opposition. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the petition? Just let us know your name and address, and we're good.
Good evening. My name is Scott Wallace. I'm a co-founder and president of Keystone Group. We do business as Keystone Homes, and we have our office address at 3708 Alliance Drive in Greensboro, 27407. And I'm generally here just to answer any questions and that you may specifically have. We did develop Wahlberg Landing some decade and a half ago, and it's been a really great project for us. And we also developed the retail there where McDonald's is in the other area, and we've been trying to sell this lot as a retail for a decade and a half, plus or minus, and it just wasn't in the cards, and it just kind of makes a lot of sense to build additional housing homes for the area and to be able to utilize the amenities that we already have in place. And we're just like to do another small project to a really long-term successful project. So I'm available to answer any questions and love to answer any questions. And I know a little bit what happened in 25, but I probably won't be here at the end. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the petition? I declare the public hearing closed and ask if there is a motion.
Move approval.
I have a statement to read. Motion to approve zoning map amendment F-1662 and statement of consistency with comprehensive plan. I move that the zoning map amendment F-1662, including site plan and special use district permit, be approved on the basis of the following. The proposed special use zoning map amendment as petitioned by Keystone Group Incorporated to rezone a .72 acre piece of property from HHS Highway Business Special Use to RM 18S Residential Multifamily, 18 units per acre, Special Use Residential Building, Multifamily Residential Building, Townhome and residential building duplex is consistent with the recommendations of the Forward 2045 Comprehensive Plan and is reasonable or in the public interest because, number one, the subject property consisting of a cleared, undeveloped lot and a parking lot is located at the southeast intersection of Wahlberg Landing Drive and Overline Drive and is adjacent to properties zoned RM 18S, HBS, and CS in Davidson County, with adjacent and nearby uses of an apartment complex, commercial businesses, a shopping center, and a drive-through restaurant. Number two, the proposed RM 18S zoning is primarily intended to accommodate multifamily uses at a maximum overall density of 18 units per acre in Growth Management Area 1 and 2, and may be suitable for Growth Management Area 3, where there is access to public water and sewer and access to a thoroughfare. Three, the proposed site plan features a three-story multi-family residential building with 12 apartments and a parking lot. Number four, the site is located in Growth Management Area 3 and has access to public water and sewer and is in close proximity to Thomasville Road, a thoroughfare. And number five, the proposed use is consistent with the Forward 2045 Comprehensive Plan, which recommends infill development in areas with public services, and the South Suburban Area Plan Update, which encourages a variety of housing types and the redevelopment of underutilized commercial sites, and the proposed use is consistent with the adjacent apartment complex and other surrounding and nearby uses. This is a motion.
And I'm assuming that both Commissioner Bessie and Commissioner Wilson will second that.
Yes.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the meeting. Oh, excuse me, I skipped one. Next item on the agenda is a resolution approving the 2026 Commissioners Committee Appointment Summary. We looked at that Monday. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner McDaniel, second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Now, the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the meeting of December the 4th, 2025. To have a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bessie and Vice Chair Wizenhunt. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, do we have any calls or cards for the public session?
Mr. Chairman, we have 4 speaker cards and 1 caller. Where would you like to start?
Why don't we do the one caller?
Okay.
It's been online for a while.
Available. Thank you.
Committee appointment summary. We looked at that Monday. Do you have a motion?
Hello, ma'am. Do you mind turning
Yes.
the volume down on your TV?
Yes.
Or thank you. Thank you for calling the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners public session line. Please state your name and address for the record.
Denisha Harris.
What's your address, ma'am?
It is 1021 Monmouth Loop, Cary, North Carolina, 27513.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Denisha Harris. Like many of you, I wear many hats. I've worked in local government procurement and finance for almost 20 years. I also serve as the president of the North Carolina Coordinators Network, a statewide nonprofit that provides education and resources to support economic development in North Carolina, which is why I'm calling you today. Our mission is to promote prosperity for all through economic inclusion and competitive procurement strategies that lead to value-added returns across sectors. We do this by providing data-informed solutions that center intentional economic growth. And that is why I'm calling you tonight. Forsyth County is a thriving hub of commerce and community with its educational assets, strong legacy of industry, and thriving center of entrepreneurship. Forsyth is a great place to live, work, and play. Despite what some may believe, local government plays a key role in that growth by stewarding tax dollars that are used to provide necessary goods and services to the residents of the county. Every dollar put into the coffers of vendors who provide goods and services needed to operate the county leads to expansion, job creation, and additional economic activity, including tax revenue back to the government. Concurrently, Forsyth must also take into consideration its method of procuring these services. Inclusive procurement practices are proven to lead to better prices, better value, and enhanced innovation. As you consider your procurement and economic development strategy, I offer the power of economic inclusion, including small, minority, and women-owned firms in your procurement practices, not just in construction, but procurement across all categories. It does drive down prices, increase quality and innovation, and also allows more firms an opportunity to grow and to thrive. A recent economic impact study conducted by Dr. Fred McKinney concluded that diverse, minority, and women-owned firms adds $2.6 billion with a B dollars of economic impact to the state of North Carolina. Last year, 54,000 jobs were created. Half of those jobs were with non-diverse firms. On the county level, every dollar that you invest in diverse firms generates $20.97 in sales, $41.84 in economic impact, and also returns $3.25 in tax revenue. In summary, economic inclusion doubles your return on investment. Every dollar, you get $2 back. I hope that you consider this strategy for intentional prosperity for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Donald Stewart. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
I'm Donald Stewart. I live at 1160 Rural Hall, Germantown Road. And I'm just here to say thank you, especially to Gloria. She's helped me through a 25-year journey. Dudley Watts, who helped push our water project over the top. And Kyle and Kirby. They helped us very much. It was a 25-year struggle. I think it was one of the first projects that Gloria took on. But we finally got it over the top. I want to thank Richard and Dan for coming out to our meeting. And like I say, it's been a challenge, it's been a struggle, but we finally got there. And again, thank you. Not to be sounding negative and unappreciative, there is a smaller project that could be extended, and I wish it could have been part of this project, but I'm just thankful we got what we got. But Crestbrook Road, they're in as much need for the county water as we were. They have some houses, 4 houses on a well. We have 2 major landfills that were there for, they started in '80, one of them. It was a 6-acre footprint, and then there's another 35-acre that kind of surrounds our area. And being on well water is not safe because these landfills are not lined, and they flow right into a creek. But again, I'm very grateful for what you guys did 5 years ago when we started this project, and very thankful to you, Lord.
Thank
you. And I hope, if there's any funds, there's other parts of the county, just because we're out in the county and we're rural, doesn't mean we don't have needs. And I think a lot of times we're kind of overlooked as far as when it comes to the same services that other people get in the county. I'd say this is our only service that we really get. I mean, is the water, and worked on it for 25 years, Lloyd. Thank you.
Next speaker is Alan Daniel. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, all. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Regarding the Tanglewood Business Park, I've sent you all volumes of emails detailing the negative impacts of developing that property to our little corner of heaven. So I won't belabor those. I urge you with all my being to include that property into Tanglewood Park. With 500 units to be built across the road, our 700 units in our community, plus the thousands of people who visit Tanglewood Park every year, it would be a great asset. It's not often that doing nothing is the right thing to do, but this is one such opportunity. Anything else that you do will be detrimental to our little corner of heaven in terms of quality of life and the tax base, negatively impacting the tax base of the entire county. Regarding the open gate scanners that I just learned today was on the agenda, I urge you not to pour more money into this project. At West Forsyth, there are 13 buildings, each with 2 entrances. It currently requires over 90 staff members to man open gate scanners at 3 of those 26 entrances, and takes close to an hour. To my knowledge, no weapons have ever been caught in any scanning system. The only ones that come close is a high school student ditched a weapon in a trash can outside the front of the building. When he realized scanners were being used, he was turned in by a student. Since scanner use began, we have had a gun go off in a cafeteria book bag. We've had students shot outside the campus at dismissal time. At least 2 guns and multiple gun parts have been found on campus, and we have had at least 2 stabbings. In response to questions, a district spokesperson said that it is not known whether the open gate system as currently calibrated would have caught the knife used last Tuesday had the system been used that day. What the district needs is not more machines or more programs. We need more accountability, and we need more people. We need the county to take on the health piece, the mental health piece. It makes sense that mental health and support services are provided at the schools because that's where the students are. But just like SROs and nurses, PTs and OTs and social workers and psychologists should be part of county services provided at the schools and on the county's budget, not the education budget. A retired administrator with 40 years in the district has told me that 10 to 15% of the students in the district will not be successful in a traditional classroom. They need more support. That support should be provided by federal, state, and local government, not our teachers. I used to not say this in public, but it needs to be heard. There's nothing to keep a student from going through a scanner, going back out to their car or a bush and retrieving whatever they left and coming back on campus. Thank you.
The next speaker is Mike Barisi. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Mike Barisi. I am a candidate for the at-large position coming in next election cycle. My address is 3331 Healy Drive. It is election season coming up, and what you hear from all the candidates, they say, you're doing a good job. You hear the candidates say to the board, you're doing a good job. Where were they when you was being intimidated? Did they have your backs when people were saying bad things about you? None of them said that. But now that it's election season, they're saying to you, you're doing a good job. They weren't there for you when the chips were down. The only person that was there for you was me, because I was saying, I have your backs, each and every one of you. When I say you're doing a good job, you know I mean it. When they say they're doing a good job, they're just looking for votes. So I don't want you to believe what they say, or the candidates that are going to come up here and say you're doing a good job, they're doing it for votes. Because they was not here by your side when you was being intimidated, when you was being called out. They didn't say nothing to you. I was the only one that said that. And that's all I have to say, sir. May the better man win the election. Thank you.
The next speaker is Valerie Benton Smith. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Valerie Benton Smith, 3912 Glen Oak Drive, Winston-Salem. Good evening, Chair, Commissioners, distinguished guests, and family friends. On behalf of my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Leroy Benton, and Faustine Benton, Mom and Dad, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners for this meaningful recognition. Thank you for taking the time to see, honor, and celebrate lives dedicated to service. A special thank you to Commissioner Tanya McDaniel for your acknowledgement, leadership, and commitment to recognizing community legacy. Your support reflects what it truly means to serve the people. Special thanks to Commissioner Dan Bessie for your warm greetings during the ribbon cutting ceremony on December 21st. Your presence adds significance and honor to this historic occasion. We also extend sincere appreciation to the City of Winston-Salem, Mayor Alan Joines, Councilmember Barbara Haynes Burke, and the dedicated city staff for the proclamation of Leroy and Faustine Benton Day and the honorary street naming ceremony. This is just not an honor for our family. It is a moment that belongs to the entire Monticello Park community. I believe deeply in giving people their flowers now. My parents never served for recognition. Their actions were never about applause or praise. They lived with a sense of duty to be solution-oriented, responsible, loving, and present for their neighbors. My parents are known not by titles, but by consistent action, generosity, and genuine care for others. For decades, their home has been a place of warmth, safety, and connection, a true neighborhood hub. They were recognized twice by the City of Winston-Salem for beautification, known for their signature knockout pink roses and water fountain that brought beauty and pride to the street. Through their faith at Macedonia Worship Center, their service never stopped. My father, a retired R.J. Reynolds employee and automotive professional, was always offering a helping hand, whether fixing a car, repairing a home, or teaching life and automotive skills to young people. My mother, also retired from R.J. Reynolds and a caregiver by trade, is remembered for her Southern hospitality, her legendary sweet potato pies, and for checking on the sick and shut-in, making sure everyone felt seen, valued, heard, and cared for. This is simply how they lived. They were not only exceptional parents to me and my late brother, Foster L. Benton, but also enduring role models for an entire community. Their lives remind us that it is all of our social responsibility to look out for one another and to make a difference right where we live. Today, we celebrate 66 years of marriage, 71 years together, and the distinction of being the oldest living couple on their street, a living testimony to love, commitment, and faith. Their legacy continues through their grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and our entire family, and with the loving support of my husband, Michael, who stands proudly with us today. You all are warmly invited to join us at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, proclamation, honorary street naming ceremony, and dinner immediately following. We invite you to wear black with accents of red, symbolizing love, legacy, and honor. Again, this is Sunday, December 21st at 2 p.m. Again, on behalf of my parents, Leroy and Faustine Benton, Mom and Dad, thank you. Congratulations. We salute you. We love you.
Thank you. I think Commissioner McDaniel has something to give you.
Valerie, on behalf of the Forsyth County Commissioners, we present you today and your parents, Leroy and Faustine Benton, in recognition and celebration of their 66th anniversary, honoring community, legacy, and impact on this 2025, presented by the Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pardon us for a minute. We're going to get a photo. Just give us a... Yeah.
See you later.
Thank you all.
To help with your campaign.
Mr. Chairman, our last speaker is Marcy West. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Commissioners. Marcy West, 331 Carolina Circle, Winston-Salem, candidate for County Commissioner in District B. I wanted to come and speak about the open gates request that's come in. I was here when the initial presentation was made on the open gates, and I remember hearing that it took fewer people. I thought it sounded like a really good idea. I was glad to hear that you made that commitment to that. I was very, very disappointed to hear that those are not in use on a regular basis. And so now that there is a new request that's coming in that's saying we need new open gates with a $1.8 million price tag, that price tag is actually significantly below what the real price tag is for that particular thing. What we need to do is actually come up with an actual process and a procedure for how those open gates that are currently here are used, who is manning those, how to make sure that guns and knives and things are actually found with that before we actually make any additional commitments in equipment or people. And so I urge you to make sure that you find out everything you need to know about this. And there should be an absolute requirement that these systems are being used as opposed to just buying them and having them. That doesn't make anybody any safer. The other thing I did want to do is I did want to thank the commissioners, the county manager, and the staff for the service that you have done over the course of the past year. I want to wish you a very happy holiday season, and I will see you next year. Thank you.
All righty. Madam County Manager, please continue with the remainder of the business items.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening, Commissioner, staff, and guests. The agenda items before you have been briefed and hopefully questions answered. Agenda item number 5 is a resolution adopting an updated countywide procurement policy. There were suggestions provided by Chair Martin as well as Commissioner Woodbury, but the current update is essentially what staff had recommended. Or what's on the agenda is what staff has recommended.
Yes, and I have, thank you. I want to make a short motion, and perhaps Commissioner Woodbury would like to too, but I presented basically, I had a chance to talk to James Anderson. He was, actually we exchanged 3 different emails about particularly the CM at risk bidding process, and I'm certainly satisfied with that conversation, and also the part of the notes from our attorney, Gordon Watkins, and taking that off my list. And I've had some other conversations about the 3 items that were left. 2 of them are, in fact, I think our specs, current bidding specs address 1 of them, and I'm certainly willing to withdraw it. And there's another one about the $300,000 limit, and I think that one is, we've had that discussion, and I think that I'm fine with that. However, there is one item that is on page 9, a paragraph, it's short, I'll read it, that I would just, my motion is simply to remove that paragraph, particularly after the discussion we had on Monday about the current staffing levels at our city-county purchasing department. And that paragraph that I would like to have stricken just simply says, for contracts under $50,000, the department can send out the work specifications to potential providers by email and request pricing. For contracts over $50,000, the department should use purchasing to ensure that it's casting a broad net in order to receive the best pricing. With help from purchasing, the department should prepare a request for proposals RFP, which is also sometimes called an invitation for bids. I'd just like to suggest that paragraph be removed in light of the discussion on Monday. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner, Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I make a quick comment on that, I'm okay with taking that out. If you do, I just noticed that the prior paragraph talks about bidding for services over $50,000. And so if that next paragraph is taken out, I would request that just the phrase over 50,000 be also taken out from the prior paragraph.
From the previous paragraph, thank you. I agree with that. Include that in my motion, I'm sure you'll second that. Discussion.
I just had one question, and that's for Manager Robinson. Is there a reason that staff made a contrary recommendation on this?
Yes, but I would say I'm okay with striking it. I mean, it's not going to necessarily change the way in which we operate. We do try to use city-county purchasing for informal bids whenever we can. We just don't want to be locked in to using them if they don't have the capacity. We have to for formal bids anyway. So removing it doesn't really necessarily do any harm, so I'm okay with it.
All right, so it doesn't complicate your processes?
No, sir, but thank you for asking.
And it's consistent with the statute, exactly.
Correct. It's also consistent with the statute, which is what I'm always most concerned about, so I'm okay with that.
Any other discussion?
I would like to, and I guess this would be the best time for me to ask for some consideration around some of the MWB hub for our procurement policy. And I have spoken with Mr. Redfield today as it relates to some of what was recommended, and he may want to come up just in case anybody have any questions. But I think that after speaking with him, if we would consider in Section 2 a solicitation of at least 2 certified hub or MWBE firms when available, could definitely, I think, benefit our procurement policy. And then I spoke to him about the discretionary spending, which is at our discretion as a county. It does not, technically violate any of the state or federal since it's under 30,000. And I think after speaking with him, I would like to recommend that if there's going to be at least 3 quotes for this type of discretionary spending, that at least 1 quote include from a small MWBE or hub firm.
Are you making that as a substitute motion?
Yes.
Is there a second for the substitute motion?
Well, I would like for our county attorney to kind of weigh in on, if you could, please, because I don't have any of this information.
Well, I think we should have a second before we have discussion. So are you
Well,
seconding it to get that
I can't second
discussion?
something I don't understand. Yeah, I'm not clear on any of this because I don't have the information in front of me to make that second.
Then in that case, I will second her motion just so we can have the discussion.
I think we briefly discussed this on Monday, and my preference personally would be, if this is something the board wants to study, that we be allowed to study it as a staff. I will say there will be significant staff time that would have to be devoted to going out and getting these minority bids for every single services proposal under $30,000. It's not required by statute. It is something we could probably do. I'm not really sure what we would do with I mean, it's good. We try to make these opportunities open to everyone, and certainly outreach is a good thing. We obviously couldn't say you have to hire a minority or women business, and I know that's not what the motion says, but I believe this was something that would need some more study before we, put it into our procurement policy.
I would like for Mr. Redfield maybe to come up to provide some insight around what the city could do to support the request to have at least one MWB small firm be considered for the discretionary spending, and how the city could support that with its software or the resources that you all have.
Sure. Darren Redfield, Purchasing Manager. Good evening. Yes, I believe that we have, for services in particular, we have pretty extensive bid lists from bidding services for the county and the city. So we already have vendor lists that include MWBEs. So we have those minorities there. Second resource is the Hub website, and we can do some quick tutorials and teach staff how to use that to quickly search under the commodities that we're looking for. This would be a work in progress. As if we do a bid, then we'd be looking for the vendors there if we don't have any. And then the third resource is the county software, which is B2G Now. It's a national diversity software that we paid for, and the county could perhaps procure that on their own as a database to find vendors. I don't know if you can add on to ours. You probably have to get your own, but there'd have to be somebody that's, over that to find those vendors if you designate a staff person. But those are available where we can, I believe we can quickly get bid lists together. So when we do solicitation, if we're just required to reach out to 1 or 2 MWBs, I believe we can do that as a work in progress as we go through the bids without slowing things down.
Other discussion.
Yes, other discussion. I don't think that most of us have clarity with exactly what is being proposed and the pros and cons from staff and legal perspective, which is why I suggested during the briefing on Monday that we ask for that, just lay it out, the points, the counterpoints, and consider these recommendations as a separate item. I'm concerned that we don't want to shortchange the important topic that is being brought up through the substitute motion here, but I don't think that we're all ready to make a truly informed choice on the details, and that they will get shortchanged as a result. So I would prefer, again, to have this come back with a point-by-point review of the the recommendations, any concerns that staff or legal have about that, and the response to those concerns, so that we can make an informed, thorough review and decision on them.
When you talk about "we" in your discussion, are you talking about bids that city-county purchasing is involved in being easy? Or are you talking about all the bids that deal with, that do not come to you? We just got through, we have a whole lot of informal bidding and a lot of things that never come to city-county purchasing. So I'm trying to get at who this is easy for, where it can easily be done.
So we'd be using bid lists for services over 30,000 or purchases over 30,000 and using that same list of vendors, adding MWBEs to them with a little bit of research so that we can provide that back to county staff to do their own bids. So for the discretionary spend. I believe we already have a lot of these lists, already have these vendors, so they'd have an email address that they can directly solicit minorities and MWBEs.
I would just,
Go ahead.
Thank you. I would just like to say that I know that, just this process, I believe, will, continue to evolve, and I have all the faith that, as a board, we want to enhance procurement so that all of our citizens find a place to do business with us. So I don't question that, and I do fully respect that as we're moving into something maybe different, that we want to do it with all fidelity of getting the appropriate information before the commissioners. I did try my best to, with, of course, as everyone else in this country, the assistance with AI, and of course, Ms. Miller, who called in today to provide some insight from the MWB coordinators organization to try to continue to empower this board around what we're recommending as it relates to strengthening our capacity to do business with MWBE and HUB. And so I could support the procurement policy today if there is a willingness from the commissioners to work to get more information for more consideration. And obviously, I think we're asking our county attorney to provide more insight so that we can, vote in a more informed way. I guess I would ask, when could we get back to this consideration? Would it take another 2 or 3 meetings, by the end of January?
I can't really say. I mean, there's not really a.
I only see sort of 2 recommendations I've made. One, the solicitation of at least 2 certified HUB or MWBE firms. I think that was for under the section 2 with the procurement process. And then I think that there was consideration for the discretionary spending part, which we have full autonomy.
So it's not just a legal issue, it's also a staffing issue, it's a management issue. With all due respect to city-county purchasing, they don't always have the availability that we would need. And so while they say they're willing to help us, I'm sure they are, and they've been a great help to us, but it may mean they need more staffing. I don't know, but that's something we'd have to look into. So I can't commit. There's not really I hear what you're saying, but there's not, what I've gotten so far is not really a focused proposal, but to the extent we want to make some kind of MWBE requirement for all contracts, or all anyhow, it would take a little bit of time, but it's not just a legal issue, it's also a management issue. So I would think staff would need to get together some kind of committee to look into it.
Why don't we ask for a report back by a date certain?
Say that
Report
again?
back by when?
By a date certain. Say
By
that.
a date certain.
Yeah, a date certain. Like the second meeting in February. That would be 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one meeting in February, but I
sorry.
think we could do it by March.
Well, let's go back and we're in the middle of discussion of a substitute motion. Let's get what the substitute motion, I'm hearing different things, so we either need to restate that or come up with another substitute motion so we can get through this.
So do you want me to try to restate the substitute motion to consider adding also to the procurement policy in Section 2 that all procurements greater than $10,000, regardless of category, must include solicitation of at least 2 certified hub or MWBE firms. That is what I am proposing in that section. And then I don't know where I don't know if there's a discretionary spending part in the policy that I could read. I'm asking, I guess, there to be added a part, maybe in procurement, where for all discretionary spending, at least one quote be solicited from a small MWBE hub firm.
So you're asking for a study of those two things?
No, not a study, for it to be included into the procurement policy by way of practice. So again, under Section 2, there's the procurement process. And so I'm asking that what be added to that as it relates to procurements that's greater than $10,000, that a solicitation of at least 2 certified hub or MWBE firms added, because it's not now currently in the policy.
So does everybody understand the substitute motion?
Yes.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed, say aye. Aye. Motion fails.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask the question. It's the same one that I asked Thursday, and that is, I asked the attorney if the county is going by the state law, and you said yes. The things that Mrs. Commissioner Woodbury is talking about, is it beyond what is in the state law?
There's no requirement that we have to reach out to MWE firms for all contracts. It's really specifically tied more to construction. And I would point out that the policy as it's written that you're considering generally requires 3 bids for most everything over $5,000. This proposal would mean that 2 of those bids would have to be MWBE. So
I think it's 1.
Okay. I may have misunderstood that, but it is not required by law, to answer your question.
So so now we're back to the original motion, which was to actually to remove 1 paragraph from page 9. And we've had a second. Is there further discussion of that motion?
I'd like to, don't really want to add this on to the current motion. I'd like to make it as a separate motion on the same topic, if that's appropriate. But after we deal with the main motion.
Okay, we can do that. So with the removal of the 1 paragraph, with the adjustment that our county attorney suggested in the previous sentence of the last paragraph, before that on page 9, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Motion carries 6-1. Commissioner Bessie, second motion.
I would like to move that we request a report back from staff and legal, taking Commissioner Woodbury's recommendations, looking at those, offering any objections that you may have in terms of staffing or legal authority. Give Commissioner Woodbury an opportunity to review the objections and respond, and that we have that reported back to us if we're not meeting twice in February, the first meeting in March.
Is there a second?
And I would second that with further discussion. Thank you, Commissioner Bessie, for sharing that. I need to be able to see this in the document, Commissioner Woodbury. I want to support you. I understand where you're going with that, but it's just not crafted appropriately for me to be able to do the research so that I'm assured that we're, again, following federal and state laws and getting to the meat of what you are wanting to procure in terms of this policy, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does, and I appreciate those comments, Commissioner McDaniel. And what I will say is that I think time kind of ran out on trying to work with Gordon today to try to put something inside of the current policy. And my hesitation right now of kind of why I didn't support the policy as is because, you know, I'm adamant that I think the citizens of Forsyth County want to see a procurement policy that explicitly includes our small local MWB hub businesses. I think that that is, you know, a very fair and general statement. And until we move in that direction, I just think that the procurement policy is not fully representative of all citizens. So, you know, that's why I couldn't support it as is. And I appreciate, lastly, Commissioner Bessie's second motion to try to get a report back to us. And I wouldn't think we need to even vote on that. I think that's just common courtesy to help us to move forward with making the best decisions about what we need to do in this county.
Well, we have a motion and a second.
Second.
so-
Yeah,
But we're still in discussion, so I would have to lean towards our county manager, Chantel, with regards to what that looks like in terms of staff and the budget, what that looks like to our budget, if it expands, if we have it in our budget to do, and then what would it look like with for those ongoing reports?
Thank you, Commissioner McDaniel. Again, in absence of thoroughly reviewing it, I mean, what I do know is it's going to require more staff time and probably more staff. So we'll need to do an analysis of what that looks like. The only other thing I will say is, you know, in the current policy, we do talk about MWBE in compliance with the law, which is under construction, and we are currently exceeding that goal. And we also take very seriously wanting to do business with MWBEs, and we are, and we're, you know, there's always opportunities for improvement, of course, across the board, but we are, you know, we're doing that. And we're committed to continuing to do that in absence of what is black and white. What's in black and white is in accordance with the law as it relates to construction, but we certainly do businesses with MWBE. So I just don't want the public to get the impression that we're not, because we are. But we certainly are happy to try to figure out to answer Commissioner Woodbury's questions. We will certainly work. We can work to do that if that is the will of the board.
And while you're there, can you remind me where our percentages lie based upon where we are in the state?
So the report that we pulled for, I think, the last fiscal year, the state's goal, again, for construction is 10%. We were at 15%. And Mr. Redfield pulled for, I think, the last 5 years in the hub data, and I think we were at 31%, if I'm not mistaken.
And I'll
So,
just,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'll just add that we'll be in conversation with you, Commissioner. I'm not quite sure what the request is. One part of the material says it requires 2 bids, and another says 1. So I don't quite understand it, but we can iron that
I
out.
think because I was unclear about what the total number of bids that went out, and so we can clear that up. I think that's just, you know, getting some clarification. But I do want to say, lastly, that I have tried to get the disaggregated data around the MWB. So what are the categories that make up the 30%? What are the categories that make up the 15%? Because again, what we know across the state is that the MWB percentages generally reflecting a higher end with just white females as a category versus proportionately looking at, minority groups as African American, Hispanic, and even some of our socioeconomic disadvantage by way of accessibility. So I think it would be more authentic and transparent to make sure that we could see what the MWB categories are and how they're reflected.
I can tell you that is construction only, and it's subcontracting. So we would have to delve into the details to get you what's minority, what's woman-owned business. But those, the 15%, the 31%, that's all construction subcontracting to MWBEs.
Okay.
We're required to report that to the state, so that's why we have that.
But you could share the categories with us if you pull the report. Okay.
I can ask our county manager maybe to comment on the efforts we currently make to actually break projects into smaller pieces, train folks, share, we've had several community workshop issues, maybe in partnership with Forsyth Tech. It seems like we have had several, outreach efforts to actually talk about, how do you do business with the county? Am I correct?
So we recently participated in partnership with the city and the MWBE Mixer. We did that this year. Recently, we did it last year. We utilize the databases from the city when they're soliciting our bids because they do have a robust database. It's a city-county purchasing department, but they don't do every single one of our bids. They're not doing our $5,000 bids, our $10,000 bids. They're not doing that. They also don't have the capacity to do that. And so that's very kind of decentralized within here. But you also have, bids that goes out for organizations like, Google and Microsoft. And so for me, it's the clarity piece around sometimes there's not MWBEs that are available or in that space. And so I have to have a better understanding of what that looks like. So health insurance providers is another example. We spend a lot of money on that in the county, and I've had lots of these conversations with Commissioner Woodbury. And so, and we also currently within the county don't have the ability to track MWBE businesses for services in that way. That doesn't mean that's something we couldn't look into or potentially start if that's the will of the board, but we just don't have that infrastructure in place today. What we have been doing is formally tracking for the construction projects that we are legally required to do. So again, if the board wants to do something different, we can look into what that looks like, present the cost, the staffing, just all of that.
I am comfortable with a study motion, but I'm confident now that the county attorney as well as the manager have indicated that it's multifactorial, that there is some question, a complete question about the timetable and staffing that might be involved. And I would just want to observe that come March, if there's still a problem in that regard, that I would be sympathetic to entertaining whatever extension is necessary to get a comprehensive study.
Mr. Chairman, I have one more thing that'll probably end up in a request. My experience working on machines that's complicated is to take the amount of time it does to fix it. And I do quite a bit of that on the farm. And when we're working on the most complicated machine on the farm, and that is a combine, the reason a combine is called a combine because it goes through three processes of what the invention was. That's the reason it's a combine. Well, when we get on a bad situation, we have some conversation back and forth. And I wait till we can get on the same page before I start. And until we get on the same page, then we just keep sitting there trying to figure out what the fix is. Mm-hmm. And I like to know what the fix is going to be. So when, Mr. Attorney, when you go through this process of the things that Commissioner Woodbury is interested in, when you get it all, I won't say done, whatever you think is maybe the specific things, put those specific things on a piece of paper where we can, or at least me, because I want to fix the machine. This is a complicated machine, county government, because the reason it's so complicated, it's made up of people. And so, that's it. Just get it on a piece of paper. If it takes more than one, that's okay. We can borrow one from a tax office because she's been saving paper. So, that's it.
All right.
Thank y'all for your indulgence.
Any further discussion on this motion to have basically by the first meeting in March, to have at least a staff review of the particular points of the number of contractors, particularly for smaller bids and larger bids, et cetera.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I just would like to say I will vote in opposition to this. I feel very comfortable that we're following the state law. I feel comfortable that our attorney has gone through these procedures, and so I will vote in opposition.
So all that said, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Aye. Motion carries 5-2. All right. Okay, we are ready for next.
Agenda item number 6 is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of additional funding from the North Carolina Department of Transportation, Division of Aviation, to fund additional environmental services work required for Taxi Lane Lima and ramp at Smith Reynolds Airport. The additional funding is in the amount of $187,400. And Part B is a resolution authorizing execution of a fourth amendment to the agreement with Avcon Engineers and Planners, Inc. to provide environmental services required by the North Carolina Department of Transportation, Division of Aviation, the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, and the United States Army Corps of Engineers for Taxi Lane Lima and ramp at Smith Reynolds Airport in the amount not to exceed $179,625, contingent upon final approval by Department of Transportation, Division of Aviation.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Vice Chair Wizenhut.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 7 is a resolution authorizing submission of an application to the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency to apply for and accept, if awarded, 2027 Urgent Repair Program funding. The request will be for an allocation of $165,000 to be used to make emergency repairs to at least 10 owner-occupied low and very low-income households.
Do we have a motion? Motion to approve by Commissioner Bessie. Second by Commissioner McDaniel. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 8 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Kelly Office Machines, Inc., doing business as Kelly Office Solutions, for lease of copiers to Forsyth County for a 5-year period, providing unlimited color printing and licensing and support for the PaperCut subscription platform in an amount not to exceed $191,391.93 per year.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 9 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Worldwide Technology, LLC, for network switches and security licensing. This is the 5-year contract at a total cost not to exceed $1,899,999.95.
Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Agenda item number 10 is a resolution authorizing execution of a lease agreement between Forsyth County and the Q-Shack Unlimited Corporation, doing business as Southern Harvest Hospitality Group, to manage and operate the food and event space within Tanglewood Park Clubhouse, located at 100 Clubhouse Circle. We did make some modifications to the county's right to reserve space section since Monday, which grants us more access when needed and if it's available. Under the proposed lease, Forsyth County will receive an annual base lease payment of $36,200 $1,000 for year one, increasing by $2,400 each year thereafter for total base lease receipts of $204,000 over the 5-year term. In addition to the base lease, the county will receive 2% of total revenue as utility reimbursement, 20% of event space revenue, 3% of dining and catering revenue, and 40% of operating profit. The proposed lease term is 5 years, subject to termination for breach within 7 days notice by either party.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Linville. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 11 is a resolution awarding and authorizing execution of a contract with Marsh & McLennan Agency LLC for comprehensive benefits consulting services. This is a 3-year contract with 2 optional renewal years at a rate of $40,000 per year.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 12 is a resolution accepting an offer to purchase county-owned real property by negotiated offer, advertisement, and upset bids procedure. This resolution accepts the last and highest offer for the Hall of Justice property and authorizes the sale of the property to Med Solutions Compounding Pharmacy, Inc. The purchase price is $2.65 million, and the buyer has placed the required 5% deposit with the clerk to the board.
Happy to make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion?
Yes.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I think this is our best opportunity to get value out of the property, and that we should take it. I also note that we will need to have a separate consideration of anything, any use for the proceeds other than simply putting them in our fund balance for the time being. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct. That is correct.
I'm still interested in reviewing our authority to take some of the revenue from this or other local sources and use it to expand our home repair and first-time lender programs. I think that's one of the quickest ways that we can ratchet up our work towards providing more affordable housing or securing more affordable housing. And we'll just recall that that I've asked our attorney to provide the language for an authorizing referendum for possible discussion next year. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Is that part of the motion?
No, that
No, just discussion.
Oh.
Any other discussion?
Go ahead.
That's not part of the motion.
No.
Okay, the manager was over there working like it. She was putting it in there, and I'm not going there right now.
The motion is to accept the offer to purchase the courthouse.
And I'm just trying to get clarification around the comments that Commissioner Bessie made in regards to what we do with the proceeds and the right that we have to utilize proceeds to support affordable housing, which then would, help me to have greater consideration to support it. So I'm not sure if Gordon wants to speak to if we have the right to utilize the proceeds to support affordable housing.
We really don't, and that's the crux of what Commissioner Bessie was referring to. If generally, if we want to use county funds, not federal funds, but county funds for housing, affordable housing programs, we generally need to get that authority from the General Assembly. One of the ways they let us do that is by passing a referendum. So that is something the board could do if that's what you wish. And Commissioner Bessie has asked me to look into what shape that would take.
Other discussion?
Yeah, just to clarify, as we've already established, I was not asking to amend the motion, simply discussing in the context of the motion the separate possibility of moving forward with using some county funds for affordable housing purposes, and I gave an example that I thought was particularly appropriate. That's not part of this motion. It was discussion because we had received community suggestions for alternative disposal of the property, and suggestions for use of the proceeds from the property. We have been clearly advised by our council that we don't have the present authority to do that, but I wanted to ensure that people were aware that there are potential ways to get the authority to do that that will be looked into separately, not as a part of this motion. Sorry if I was less than stellarly clear on that.
I will support this motion, but given my prior experience of over 45 years with this particular piece of property, I'll have a keen eye on the due diligence period.
Yeah.
All righty. If there's no further discussion, we can vote on accepting the offer to purchase the courthouse. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries 6-1. Excuse me.
Agenda item number 13 is a resolution authorizing publication of an offer to purchase county-owned real property by negotiated offer, advertisement, and upset bids procedure. At its June 19th, 2025 meeting, the board directed the county manager to solicit fair market value offers for the purchase of the Amos Cottage property located at 3325 Silas Creek Parkway. No offers were received during the initial 90-day offer window. The property has been for sale since that time. One offer was received from Jim Cap Development LLC in the amount of $2,025,000 on November 28th. This resolution would authorize advertisement of the offer for upset bids.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move approval. I do have a discussion item.
And I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bessie, second by Commissioner McDaniel. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, this property isn't on registered historic places, is it?
Isn't it just only 50 years old? I'll let Kirby fill in the details.
It was 1972 or 1975. I'd have to figure it out, but it would theoretically qualify for historic tax credits.
Okay. But it doesn't have that
No, sir.
designation now.
No,
And
sir.
basically, that was what its historic use has been referenced in discussion. I didn't think that it was actually designated as historic property, but I wanted to double check on that.
Right, not contributing in a historical sense, but it's old enough, certainly. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 14 is a resolution authorizing the county manager to solicit fair market value offers to purchase county-owned real property. This would authorize the county manager to solicit fair market value for the purchase of Tanglewood Business Park and to dissolve the restrictive covenants that were placed on the property in 2018.
As I indicated Monday when we discussed this, I'd like to make a motion that we table this item until our next meeting on January 15th. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion?
Just for the discussion, I'll go ahead and say pretty close to what I did last Monday, and when it comes again, I'll most likely say the same thing. So I'll be open to seeing what the market says is out there. But, Mr. Attorney, whenever, whether it's later on, before we put the line out there and see what's out there, then once something comes in or something's come in, then that would be subject to the upset bid process if the county decided to go forward. Is that the way it would work?
You as a board would have choices of ways to sell the property, but generally that's what we've been doing because that's the easiest way to go out and get an offer, and whatever best offer you have, then you publish that in the upset bid process. But it would just depend on what you ask Mr. Robinson to do, if you want him to hold it open for 90 days, for example, or however long to see what offers are out there, and then the best offer, you could do the upset bid process.
Well, I'm open on this, and if the fish is not big enough when it comes in, then I'm gonna be okay with just sitting on the property and holding it, because it's I explained last week, I don't know whether I was as clear as Mr. Bessie can be many times. So it's not going to cost us any maintenance or upkeep simply because it's woodland. I'm learning, Mr. Bessie, but
Actually, I haven't been doing a good job on that tonight, so sorry.
Is this the first time that we've tried to sell this property?
Ma'am?
Is this the first time that the county has tried to sell this property?
It's been for sale for a bunch of years.
Well, there's been attempts to sell parts of it. I can't remember what all is exactly has
I'm happy to jump in here.
So.
We actually did sell a piece of this at one point, ended up buying it back. It has been marketed by Greater Winston-Salem Inc. For economic development projects, but I think this is looking at it in a different light.
Okay, any further discussion?
I think the difference at this point is that it seems that marketing this as an industrial park is a futile undertaking, and the question is, what do we do? How do we handle it at this point? If I'm missing any points under review, please correct me.
That's correct.
Further discussion items? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We will review again on January 15th.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 15 is a resolution authorizing execution of an amendment to the lease agreement between Forsyth County and the City of Winston-Salem for county-owned real property located at 651 Highland Avenue. This space is currently being utilized as an overflow shelter for unhoused individuals. This amendment allows use of the space in daytime hours during inclement weather events.
Is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner McDaniel. Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 16 is a resolution approving all previous land purchased by the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education to be used for the future Ashley Elementary School site. The Board of Education is requesting that the board approve all purchases of land previously made for the future Ashley Elementary site. It was previously made without Board of Commissioner approval as required by General Statute 115C-426. The Board of Education did formally approve this request at their Tuesday meeting.
We have a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion?
Sure it is. I want the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education to realize that this could have been an issue and not to ever do that again. Thank you.
That's right. Excellent point. Any further discussion or comments? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda items 17 through 29 are our appointments, and I'm going to turn them over to Commissioner Wilson.
You should have with you a series of appointments that can be handled by acclamation. If everyone has that list, I'll read through it. rather quickly, and if appropriate, we could probably do a motion to approve all. We don't actually need a motion or a second, so I'll read that list. Adult Care Community Advisory Committee, Shannon Sheridan, Forsyth County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, Max Graham, Forsyth Memorial Hospital Inc. Board of Trustees, Phyllis Cardwell George, Avery Hall, Michael Horn, Industrial Facilities and Pollution Control Financing Authority, Alan Abrams, Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee, Forsyth County, Amy Holmes, Smith Reynolds Airport Board, Conrad Walsh, Forsyth Technical Community College designee, filling the unexpired term of Joshua Burcham. Tourism Development Authority, James Williams, hotel owner / operator with more than 100 rooms. Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee, no, these already have been confirmed. So with that list, are there any further questions before we vote?
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, no second is required. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
It passes. They're elected. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, we'll go first with the Adult Care Community Advisory. That's not correct. Oh, okay. The following boards have remaining vacancies or did not receive applicants. Madam Clerk, please continue the appointments to a future meeting for Adult Care Community Advisory Committee, Animal Services Advisory Board, Community Appearance Commission, Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, Nursing Home Advisory Committee, Forsyth County.
Do we not have an Animal Control Advisory Committee appointment? Yes. Coming up? Separate, different group.
Yeah, we're coming up with that. All right. Next would be the Animal Services Advisory Board. And that's a vote for one. The two candidates are Destiny Shores and Natalie Kakinda. Okay. All right. This will be one appointment for a 2-year term expiring December 2027. Capacity, one owner of a fertile hunting dog. Please vote for one. Not dog, for one of the candidates. I did. You took it. Yeah, I've gotten that somewhere. Yeah, here.
I can't find my ballot. That's for the animal control. I can't find it. What was their names again?
He is on.
Okay.
Yeah, who won? Okay. We're dealing. I don't want to be the king. I'm an idiot.
Mr. Chairman, Destiny Shores received majority vote.
Next will be Experiment in Self-Reliance, one appointment, 3-year term expiring June 2028. Capacity, one open. Vote for one of the following citizens wishing to serve: Francis Alston, Brandy Bell, Yana Bellamy, Sherry Billings, Ashley Burgess, Tawanda Carpenter, Ashley Gorton, Gregory Hairston, Marcia Harris, Maurice Hill, Megan Hunt, Jeffrey Hodges, Tyler Moody, Shawana Moore, Miriam Rivera, Dominique Rowland, Destiny Shores, Nicholas Smith, John Stewart. Vote for one.
Mr. Chairman, none of the applicants received majority vote. However, John Stewart has received 3 votes. Miriam Riviera has received 1 vote. Tawanda Carpenter has received 1 vote. Ashley Burgess has received 1 vote. And Francis Alston has received 1 vote. So the board will need to vote again to get to a majority vote on one of the applicants.
Call the names again, please.
Sure. John Stewart. Miriam Riviera. Tawanda Carpenter. Ashley Burgess. Or Francis Alston.
Where are they?
You said John Stewart.
Mr. Chairman, John Stewart received majority vote.
Okay. For Forsyth County Historic Resources Commission, 1 appointment, 4-year term, expiring June 2029, capacity 1, licensed architect. You may vote for 1. The candidates are Ed Bolden and Jeremy Thorne.
Are there 2? Oh, I thought I already did that. I thought I turned that in already. Yeah, I thought I did. I filled it out, though. Well, I wouldn't, no, it's not. Here, I'll just put.
That's not yours.
No, it's not. Well, that's for me. I don't know who that's from. It came before us, for me. Yeah, I found it. It was upside down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
That was weird. She thought it was yours. She thought it was. Did I vote for it? Okay. What was that about? A forgery. I'm a forger. I'm a forger.
Mr. Chairman, Jeremy Thorne received majority vote in the licensed architect position.
For the Forsyth County Historic Resources Commission, continuing one appointment, 4-year term expiring June 2029, capacity 2 at large. So you can vote for 2 of the following citizens wishing to serve: Ryan Bullard, Sarah Cromwell, Megan Hunt, Brittany Hyder, Adam Landreth, Jeff Murphy, Noah Reynolds, Susan Rupp, Jason Thiel, Heidi Tuft, Amanda Vorath, or Mark Watkins.
I don't think I can get any more mixed up.
Okay.
I'll just hold on, man.
Mr. Chairman, Noah Reynolds and Jason Thiel received majority votes.
Next, Forsyth County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, 1 appointment, 2-year term expiring June 2027, capacity 1 member of Faith Community. Vote for one of the following citizens wishing to serve: Albert McAnally or Max Graham.
Yeah, I think Max was already by acclamation. He was in the under 21.
Well, we have a different sheet here. 2 citizens wishing to serve: Albert McAnally or Antoinette Joyner.
You can use that for your vote.
Okay. I told you there were bugs in this thing.
Mr. Chairman, Antoinette Joyner received majority vote.
Next is Novant Health, Inc. Board of Trustees, 1 appointment, 3-year term expiring December 2028, capacity 1 county commissioner appointee. You may vote for 1. There's an incumbent wishing to serve, Charles Hooser, a citizen wishing to serve, Marquis Barnett.
Mr. Chairman, Charles Hooser received majority vote.
Next is Smith Reynolds Airport Board, 2 appointments, 3-year terms expiring December 2028. So capacity of 2. You may vote for 2 of the following. Wishing to serve, incumbents wishing to serve, Perry Hudspeth, Clarence Lamb. Citizens wishing to serve, John Abrams, Matt Klepper, Josh Ferrier, C. Roger Hill, Jeffrey Hodges, Richard Jerning, Joseph Mock, or Joseph Weaver. Vote for 2. Okay. It should be. Yeah, you and me too, sister.
Mr. Chairman, Perry Hudspeth and Clarence Lamb received majority vote.
And hopefully last, Zoning Board of Adjustment, Forsyth County, 2 appointments, 3-year terms expiring December 2028. Capacity 1 regular and 1 alternate member. So the 2 top applicants receiving the most votes will fill the vacancies. Vote for 2 of the following citizens wishing to serve: Christopher Ahijirika, John Lawrence, Robert Peterson, Nicholas Smith, Philip Venable, or Rick Wanick.
Mr. Chairman, Philip Venable received 6 votes for the regular member position, and Robert Peterson received 3 votes, which is not majority vote. So Robert Peterson received 3 votes, Nicholas Smith received 2 votes, and John Lawrence received 2 votes.
Okay. That will require an additional vote then for one of those 3 candidates, John Lawrence, Robert Peterson, or Nicholas Smith?
Yes.
Okay. He's got it, he's got it.
Mr. Chairman, Robert Peterson received 2 votes, Nicholas Smith received 3 votes, and John Lawrence received 2 votes. We will need another vote to get a majority vote between the 3, which is Robert Peterson, Nicholas Smith, and John Lawrence.
I voted for Peterson. So, what's his name? Smith.
So there'd be another additional vote. Not yet a tiebreaker. Other than the fact that we can't count, it's fine.
Mr. Chairman, Nicholas Smith received majority vote for the alternate member position.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe that concludes the voting for tonight, and it's truly a testament to those who wish to provide public service selflessly to this county. But if there's no one else running for anything on planet Earth, we're concluded with that part.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Agenda items 30 through 31 are resolutions approving refunds by the tax assessor collector. 30 is in the amount of $11,752.64, and 31 is in the amount of $413,987.17.
Approved by Commissioner Linville. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda items 32 through 34 are our reports. 32 is the October Human Resources Report. 33 is the October Contribution-Based Benefit Cap Report. And 34 is the November Financial Report.
We have a motion. Motion approved by Commissioner Linville.
Second.
Second by Commissioners Bessie and Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item 35 is an added item that was properly briefed on Monday. It's a resolution authorizing a second amendment to a revenue agreement with Keefe Commissary Network, LLC, for on-site inmate commissary services for the Law Enforcement Detention Center. This would extend their agreement for 1 month through January 31st, 2026, to ensure a smooth transition with a new vendor who will start February 1st. The new vendor's contract will be brought to you at the first January meeting.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion?
So I do have just a couple of questions. I can't recall if I left early or I think maybe I did before we got to this. I'm sorry. But did you talk about the rationale behind terminating this contract in February? I guess a new one would start in February, but this one would end in January 31st, 2026.
That is correct. Essentially, what I said was that it's a sensitive matter, and we were going to go with our the second-ranked vendor.
So now my brain is clicking to maybe the rationale why, and so. I do absolutely have the same concerns, but I do think that in order for me to vote reasonably, I would, like to get some input from the sheriff's office regarding this contract.
I've been working closely with the sheriff's office on this and his detention center staff, his business office. I've not spoken with the sheriff directly on it. Again, it's a sensitive matter, and so our recommendation is to go with the second-ranked vendor.
Is there any, so, not to belabor this for sure, but I think that based on the sensitivity, quote unquote, of the issue, the termination of this contract, I think that, I would hope that there is some direct feedback from the sheriff's office. I think that so we don't, one, ever have to go back and forth with something like this. I think that without definitive resolve of, whatever happened over with this contract, then generally our policy is whoever is the lowest bidder, this was the lowest bidder. And so now if there's something that is a concern, but the sheriff's office is not either on record saying what what is their response with this concern, or coming over to talk to us about their response to this concern, I think that for me, there is a gap of why we're doing it, other than there is a sensitive issue without any explanation from what's going on over at the sheriff's office. But that's my point.
I do just want to clarify, we're not terminating their contract. They're just not being selected as the new vendor.
So I want to clarify why we're terminating terminating this contract. But you're saying that it's a sensitive issue, so I get that maybe there is some parts of it that we can't discuss, and so I won't go down that rabbit hole unless there's some direction from the county attorney, but I'm just saying that I have not heard any direct response from the sheriff's office around the sensitivity of this issue and why we truly should be terminating it, is what I would say.
Well, the sheriff's office, they're the ones who drafted this agenda item. But again, I have not spoken with the sheriff directly recently in regards to this particular agenda item, but it was worked on with sheriff's office staff.
Oh, okay, so you're saying that this is something that is...
Well, to be clear, I mean, my recommendation, and I was clear with sheriff's office staff that my recommendation was to go with the second ranked vendor, and I would not be recommending continuing selecting this vendor. We could certainly ask our attorney what we can disclose in public or not.
Yeah, I'll just say that if it's the board's desire, you could go into a closed session to consult with an attorney about this matter. But I agree with the manager that this would not be proper to discuss in open session.
All righty. With any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes 6-1.
I know the next item is the year in review, but before we do that, we do have another item that needs to be voted on to be added to the agenda, and it is in front of you on paper. It's a resolution authorizing the grant and execution of a water line easement to the city of Winston-Salem across a portion of county-owned real property located at 100 Horizons Lane. In accordance with your rules of procedures, this would require the board, the majority of the board, two-thirds majority of the board, to agree to add this as an agenda item. And so I can certainly turn over to the chair if he would like to further explain.
Yeah, I'd be happy to explain. I actually received a call from Richard Anderson, who actually is the director of the Horizons Residential Care Center. You all may know that in fact, one of our ARPA projects was actually to help construct a different style, more residential living facility, to not have a congregate living facility, but actually have more individual rooms. The facility ribbon cutting was actually 2 months ago. It is finished, and it's by not going ahead and approving. This literally came late from the city last week, and if we waited until January 15th, there's a whole nother month that goes by before the building even has a capability of being occupied. Our bylaws, for operating the meetings, it does deal with we can add something that was not briefed in an emergency. It's not an emergency for us, but it's an emergency for someone who is on our land that we lease to them for $1 for 50 years or 100 years. And the damage done, because it talks about any suffered damage, is going to be the residents that cannot go ahead and move into the new facility. So it's another 30-day wait that would be unnecessary. We were able to get this is something we routinely approve, and I think that would be, it's just an easement on our property for the Horizons Residential Care Center.
I have a question for Ms. Swain. I'm not going to assume anything, but I would guess as far as water lines goes, they just need a certain narrow width of easement, and whatever that easement is, will it be located in a place that won't interfere with anything else?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
There's no interference. It's all within their leased boundaries.
The only question, well, I guess I'll ask another one then. You've answered them. Ms. Swain, you always got the answers. when these kind of things occur, how is it things get so far behind that something like this, I understand it and don't have a problem with it, but it's just good to know about whatever it is, all. And I just know what to do with water lines and whether one's gonna be in a way or something, and she explained it. But that's the reason for the questions, and if it's of any offense to anybody, then so be it.
Chelsea, is this not just for a meter? I mean, I just remember what Richard said yesterday. It's just,
It's for about 8,000 square feet of water line just to serve the new buildings. There is some new construction there with it.
yeah, which is, the construction basically is finished. I mean, there's some other delays too, because they also have to have it inspected by the North Carolina DHHS folks. That's also come out, but this is another 30-day period, just waiting. So I agree with you, Commissioner Linville,
Well,
about
that
the
is-
time delays.
That's good. I'll move to approve for this. I was just wondering the other day. Well, go ahead and if it was a second, then I'll tell you what I was thinking about the other
Well,
night.
I'll second it. I think we have to take action first to add it to the agenda. It requires 5 votes. All in favor of adding it to the agenda, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're adding it to the agenda. I'll accept your motion to approve the easement on the water line. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Vice Chair Wizenhunt. Now further discussion.
One question. Is there any, is this basically cleared land that the easement would be running over?
My understanding is yes.
Okay, so there's nothing sensitive in the proposed path of the water line. Okay, fine.
Good. No discussion, please. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we'll actually vote on the resolution authorizing the grant and execution of a water line easement to the city of Winston-Salem across a portion of county-owned real property located at 100 Horizons
We
Lane.
did both.
Did you do both?
Yes, we did. We had 2 actions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One was to add it to the voting, and then we did vote.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
Glad I'm not the only person that happens to.
It's late, I'm sorry. Okay, so we do have 2 more items. If it's okay with you, Mr. Chair, I'll quickly talk about the funding for metal detectors
Yes,
before your
please do.
year in review.
Yes.
Just a quick update for the board. Since Monday's meeting, I've had several conversations with Superintendent Phipps and also met with him in person yesterday about this item. What he has essentially stated is that this potential request had not even been thoroughly reviewed by him to the Board of Education. And so they are not prepared to submit any type of request to the Board of Commissioners. He wants to do a thorough operational analysis and assessment and expect to be able to provide more discussions and potential options, maybe a potential request sometime in January. But he's also looking through his various funding sources and all of that. So he wanted to make sure I conveyed that. He did discuss that individually with board members, and they were not prepared to request anything at this time.
Good, so we'll return at a later date when we hear from them. Thank you. Ready for the closing year in review. Can't wait. At the last meeting of the year, we have traditionally reviewed the milestones of our work over the previous year, and with the help of the county manager, I'm happy to do that now. So I think all of you would agree that 2025 was on my little notes, I put capital BUSY. This was a busy year. And there are a presentation just to summarize, and it is a lot of things to summarize, is that basically it's in 7 sections. First is in key personnel changes. So personnel changes, just quick recap of key personnel changes. And back in April, we hired Jamie Bertman as our animal shelter director. In May, our longtime tax assessor collector, John Burgess, retired, and we thanked him for finishing the property reevaluation year. And in June, we had a substantial restructuring of emergency services. You will recall that the vacant director's position of emergency services was eliminated, and our 3 deputy chiefs were promoted to directors of their respective division, each of those reporting to Kyle Haney, our deputy county manager. Andrew Davis is our EMS director. Brock Smith is our fire services director. Jamie Four is the communications director, the 911 communications director. And I think all of you would agree that after this 6 months, this arrangement has worked out very well and actually has saved the county money. Also in June, Michael Duncan was hired to fill the long vacant behavioral health services director's position. And Leslie Rose in July was hired by North Carolina State as our new cooperative extension director. And we hired Amanda Markle, who's in the back of the room, as our new tax assessor collector. Key personnel. Second, board operations and public engagement. In March, the board began holding quarterly evening meetings to improve accessibility and public participation. In April, for the first time, the Board of County Commissioners budget workshop meetings were broadcast and available online, further enhancing transparency and public accountability. In August, Board of County Commissioners unanimously adopted a resolution urging regulators to deny permits for Transco's pipeline expansion until a full environmental review confirms safety. In December, the Board of County Commissioners approved holding monthly evening sessions beginning in January. Third category, public safety, health, and emergency response. In the period between February and June, the county engaged the firm North Carolina Fire Chiefs Consulting to conduct a comprehensive assessment of emergency services operations. Many of their recommendations have already been implemented. In the same time frame, our own local county fire study committee finished their work and recommended increasing the fire tax overlay funds to benefit all of our county fire departments and make it possible for every department to respond 24/7 to fire calls, not just the larger fire departments. From July until now, we've had, again, the North Carolina Fire Chiefs Consulting firm conducting a fire study. Last one was emergency services. They're now doing a fire study to evaluate long-term fire system needs and develop a strategic plan for continuous improvement. From July to September, an $18 million city and county-funded radio system for all first responders was replaced. In the months of October and November, Forsyth County, its partners and residents navigated the challenges of the federal shutdown that occurred between October 1st and November 12th. During this period, the county convened weekly meetings with nutrition and food partners to coordinate messaging, share updates, and plan for potential SNAP and WIC disruptions. A public-facing website was launched to provide accurate information, and a multi-agency press conference was held on October 29th. Staff were kept informed throughout, and while some employees were temporarily reassigned, no reductions in force occurred. Due to the strength of this collaboration, the partners agreed to continue meeting monthly. Only good thing I can think of from the shutdown. In November, all of our libraries began distributing free naloxone Narcan to continue increasing availability and accessibility of this life-saving medication. Narcan has already been available in the detention center lobby, county pharmacy, public health, Crystal Towers, Healy Towers, Sunrise Towers, Addiction Recovery Care Association, ARCA, Smoky Shays, Louisville Family Counseling, Citywood Dwellings, and soon to be available at Social Services. Also in November, members of the newly formed Forsyth County Fire Commission were selected and actually held their first meeting in December. Fourth bundled is economic development. Across 4 projects, the county supported approximately $54.6 million in capital investment that's projected to create 144 new jobs, with average wages ranging between $47,000 to almost $80,000. The Board of County Commissioners approved up to $488,000 in performance-based tax incentives and authorized building reuse grant applications totaling $750,000. I'm going to tell you the 4 projects. GMAX Industries, a textile manufacturer, is making a $15 million capital investment. Their average wage is $63,810 for 42 jobs. We approved $143,165 in performance-based tax incentives. Polyvlies, a German textile manufacturer, in a $31 million capital investment, average wage of 47,028 jobs. This is an expansion for Polyvise, which opened their first operation in Forsyth County in 2014, in part due to incentives provided by Forsyth County and Winston-Salem. We approved performance-based incentives up to $291,183. Third project was Reagent Chemical Services, a United Kingdom industrial chemicals manufacturer. $5.63 million capital investment, average wages of nearly $60,000, 30 jobs. Board of County Commissioners approved performance-based incentives for up to $53,962. But we also approved applying for a $350,000 building reuse grant from the State Rural Economic Development Division on behalf of Reagent. And then WH Farms, the fourth company, a plant-based botanical products manufacturer of wellness and cosmetic products, $2.96 million capital investment between 41 and 44 jobs, average wage right at $80,000, $79,834. And we approved applying for a $400,000 building reuse grant from the North Carolina Commerce Department. Fifth bundle, groundbreaking, ribbon cuttings, and special events. In March, ribbon cuttings were held for the Dudley Watts Park at Blues Lake. In June, we actually held the Highland Avenue Center celebration for the auditorium, the Highland Avenue Park, actually in mid-June. In July, an open house was held at the Phoenix House for a 6-bed residential facility for youth in DSS custody awaiting new placements. We had ribbon cutting for Tanglewood Clubhouse on October 27th. In the budget arena, busy year. In January, tax reappraisal was marked by an extraordinary and historic 51% average increase in property values over the previous 4 years. In June, the county sold general obligation 2/3 bonds that were rated AAA by Moody's and Standard & Poor's and provided $35.4 million for capital needs. Those needs included $16 million of capital maintenance projects for the library, the sheriff's office, parks and recreation, and the community college and schools. The remaining $19.4 million was set in reserve to be used for the new Ashley Elementary School. In June, we adopted a $591 million budget, and just a few highlights included a property tax rate of 53.52 cents per $100 of value, 14.2 cent tax decrease following historic reappraisal increases. However, this rate is 4.48 cents above the revenue neutral rate of 49.04 cents. An increase was primarily needed to reduce the county's reliance on fund balance. The budget set the fire service district rates to revenue neutral levels following reappraisal and includes a 1.4 cent tax increase to the countywide fire overlay tax, bringing it to 1.79 cents, which funded the recommendations of our Fire Study Committee. Our new funding formula for the schools produced $180 million for Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. We supported public safety at $107 million, Health and Human Services at $97 million, and we had $1.8 million for community grants. Last item was Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools challenges. This year was marked by significant challenges stemming from the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools financial crisis. Commissioners worked diligently to offer support while safeguarding the county's financial stability and protecting taxpayers. In response, the board approved allocating $8.5 million to assist with debt repayment and authorized a debt forgiveness plan, dollar for dollar matching if private funds were raised. And as of this week, the superintendent reported $5.68 million has been raised to retire debt, which results in $5 million debt to the county being satisfied. Pretty busy year. It's been a real pleasure working with all of you. I think you're all probably tired listening to that. But in any case, we'll be ready to start bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on January, actually the Monday briefing on the 12th. I think there's no other business. We shall stand adjourned. Have a happy holidays.